I think that it is undoubtedly true that we are probably headed towards an economic downturn of some sort in some way, shape, or form. And I think it's important as resellers that we move forward and make decisions based on that. Welcome back to Commonwealth. Flipper, welcome to the Commonwealth cabin. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than typical. Normally we have 20, 25 things headed out of here, and we talk about a specific topic for 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, something like that. But today we're going to do it a little bit in reverse. We only have 12 things going out of here. I could have 22 things going out of here, but I've already done a bunch of shipping. And we did a video yesterday. We've had so much, I decided just to make this one small because there's a topic that I wanted to talk about that I hear a lot of people talking about lately. And I think it's important. We're going to do 3 sales really quick. One relates to the topic, and we're going to spend quite a bit of time on this topic today. Let's take a look. Pepper snuck in here because I had to go in to grab this shirt. It was on my list. I thought I was out here hanging, but it wasn't. Had a lot of success lately with some vintage single stitch shirts at different sales, and my dad actually had success at 2 sales, one earlier this year and one just a couple weeks ago, and he found one of these at a sale. Couldn't believe it. I'm like, he brought this thing, I'm like, this thing is fire. And there's a couple comps just like it at $40, and I decided to put it out there right at that $40 plus shipping. Sold super fast, single stitch. That's the old vintage made in USA tag right there. Berkeley Sports side hits on both. Really good conditioning, just the perfect amount of tiny crackle in a vintage shirt, single stitch on the bottom as well. And it's gonna be, I guess it's kind of an all over print because, well, it really isn't, but it's close, right? It has it on the back and it goes right to the edges. I don't know, Chernock, you tell me, is that an all over print? I would say no, because it doesn't continue onto the back, but it is similar on the back. But anyway, that is an awesome shirt. Sold for $39.99 plus shipping. I think the buy cost was $3 on it. When we talk about the topic a little bit, that's an interesting item as it relates to recession and reseller recession and what type of items are going to sell. And we are going to talk about that quite a bit. Let me see if I can find this one. This one's a Simpsons lot of DVDs. I think it's over here. Well, maybe it isn't. Here it is. I had to move a few things. I think this is 7 of 8 seasons. Missing season 6 or something like that. And it sold for pretty good money. I bought this in a box. It's going to be hard to grab with one hand. Bought this in a box full of those wrestling DVDs and these. And I think a couple extras as well. And we're already into the pure profit before this one, I think. Not quite sure, but I'll have to take a look. And these sold for pretty good money. They sold for $43 plus shipping. And this is the type of item, believe it or not, that'll tie into the discussion about recession as well. What type of items will sell, what type of items won't sell, and how to prepare for recession as a reseller. All right, y'all, the next item is the item that got me thinking about this topic. I did a video kind of about this earlier in the year, earlier in the summer, but I think it's a little bit more relevant now. I've seen a lot of other reseller YouTuber types out there doing videos like this. I think I mentioned that Pete Craigslist Hunter was the first one I saw do it. And I wanted to talk about it because I think it's a little bit more relevant now. And first of all, you may be watching this video, you may be watching me for the very first time. And if you are, first of all, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe. That would be awesome. But maybe you should watch the rest of it and then you can decide. Regardless, if this is the first time you're watching me, if you were watching before this, you know I don't claim to be like a guru of reselling. I don't teach people how to sell full-time and make a living and, you know, make $200,000 a year reselling stuff out of a shed. This is basically born out of the fact that I was a school teacher and I supported a family of 5 on a school teacher's salary. I made the most I ever made teaching was $42,000, and that was the last year I taught. So, you know, it's a little bit difficult to support a family of 5 these days with no other income coming in, so I started to resell. And so this is really not focused at those people who are reselling to absolutely make a living doing it. It's really more focused for people like me who are trying to supplement their income to make all the ends meet, to give the extras to their kids, have a retirement fund, and all that. So that's where we're coming from when we talk about this topic. But before I do, this was something that I saw at a yard sale. I would have never picked this stuff up even a year ago. But now that we're in the place where we're at, where it looks like it's, you know, almost inevitable that there's going to be at least a small downturn in the economy, maybe not drastic, let's hope not. I think the downturn's already started to some degree. Now that we're there, I've been looking for different types of things, and this one we had 3 of these boxes, and I'm like, you know what, we're going to grab these, $5 a piece. Never sold this type of stuff before, and I'm like, this is going to sell. Definitely, you know, at a time when inflation is a thing and a downturn in an economy, this is the kind of stuff that just has to get bought, and it costs a lot of money, supply chain stuff and all that. I'm like, I'm gonna pick it up, see how fast it sells. $5, $5. Unfortunately, one of them wasn't full. This one looks like it is. This one isn't. I weighed it, and it weighed exactly half as much as this. And this one looks like it's strung really tight. Looks like it's full. So I put it out there. 500 feet. 500 feet is like 750 feet ish. And it got bought really quickly, $72 plus shipping. It's audio cable. And, you know, I was talking to an electrician the other day because we're putting in another shed out there and we need to string electricity out there. We've talked a little bit about electricity before, the rising cost of it and the solar panels and all that stuff that we're doing. And, you know, I'm trying to be honest and upfront with it. There's a lot of cost in it. The electrician's like, you know, it's hard for me to get the stuff I need. And when I do, it's really, really expensive. He has said it's gotten better the last month or two, which is really cool. But I've been looking for different things. I got Cat 5 in there, which I need to string out to that shed out there, probably into this one too. I've got all kinds of different stuff, you know, the conduit and all that stuff. And he's like, that stuff is expensive. And I think that I'm going to be looking out for this kind of stuff more often. All right, you have to forgive me. I was a teacher, you know, and a coach. So I love clipboards. I love lists. I love all that stuff. So I just wanted to go over a couple of things because I watched some of these videos that were out there. It's not that I disagree with them, but I want to give a different take on it. First of all, I'm not an Eeyore. I hate being down. It's not like, woe is me. The world's falling apart. I haven't made an eBay sale in the last 7 minutes. Therefore, eBay is, you know, having a depression. That's not where I'm coming from. This is more practical stuff. I'm going to list some things that I heard on some of these videos that people say are items that sell well in a recession. And that's fine. And then I'm going to contradict what I just said and give you a little bit of a different take on it. So here's what I got. First item, tools. Because people want to fix stuff themselves because it costs too much to take it to somebody else. Okay, fair enough, right? Workout equipment. Remember the rush for workout stuff during the pandemic? Well, this would be a different take on it. I guess the idea is that people, if they're in a crunch for money, they would cut things like their gym membership and they would work out at home, right? So there you go. Camping equipment. People still want to go on vacation, but they want to do it in a cheaper fashion than, say, you know, going to Disney for a resort for a week. I don't know. Knives. I don't know. Maybe it's the preppers out there that want that. I don't know. Gold and silver. I've heard that on a few, which is interesting. You see me pick up gold and silver a lot. You know, necklaces, jewelry, stuff like that. I usually keep it. I just kind of hoard it away. I don't know why, but that's what I do. At any rate, necessities, obviously. Anything that's a necessity, right? People are going to need no matter what. They want to get a lower cost of the item. Pet things, because people love their pets, but when it's about, you know, cutting their own stuff versus cutting their pet stuff, they're at least going to search for a better deal. They're going to find a used item or something, you know, I don't know what. Maybe a pet carrier or a bed for a pet. I don't know. Pick your pet item. Here's an interesting one, and I actually agree with this to some degree. Kids' clothing in lots. In other words, kids' clothing that you wouldn't typically sell on eBay. Instead of donating them, you know, people are deciding to resell them. My wife's been doing that for years. She's like, why would I take this stuff and drop it off at the Goodwill when, even if it's not name brand stuff, why wouldn't I just put it in a giant lot of 15 pieces? They're all the same size and sell it off that way and make 20 bucks profit. I'm like, sounds good to me. Not complaining. Take a second, if you would, and leave a comment below of an item that you think might sell well in a recession. I think that it is undoubtedly true that we are probably headed towards an economic downturn of some sort, in some way, shape, or form. And I think it's important as resellers that we move forward and make decisions based on that. And if it doesn't happen that way, at least you're prepared. And if it does happen that way, you're definitely prepared. All right, I've actually made this argument before. I'm going to make it again. I think that's all good and well, all those items that sell during a recession. It's my opinion that everything that sold before a recession tends to sell during a recession as well. It just doesn't sell maybe for as much. It maybe doesn't sell as frequently, but recessions historically don't hit all people the same. And I was a history teacher for a long time, so I taught extensively about the Great Depression and, you know, the different recessions we've been through as a country. You know, I've been through 2 now myself. And I think that it's important to keep that in place. So let me give you an example. So I was a school teacher, right? So somebody out there who's trying to live on 42 grand a year and supporting a family of 4 without any government assistance or anything like that, that kind of person out there, if that's all the income you have, a recession could hurt you a little bit. There's no doubt about it. You know, inflated prices, different things like that can hurt a little bit. If you're on a fixed income, if you're retired, it's going to hurt you a little bit more. You know, but for some people out there, if you're making enough to take 5 vacations during a year, and now the recession hits and you might not be able to make 5 vacations, you can only do 2, you know, it's hitting you a little bit different. But those people that are barely scraping by, then something bad happens, then they're in trouble. Those are the kind of people who aren't buying massive high-priced stuff to begin with. Those are the kind of people who aren't buying collectibles to begin with. I actually think the most important part as a reseller is for us to focus on the buy side. Historically speaking, a lot of people make their fortunes in a recession. I'm not saying we're going to get, you know, become millionaires selling this stuff in a shed. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is take the same philosophy, the same outlook that somebody who buys houses might, right? The downturn in the housing market with an increasing interest rate on a house provides opportunity, but only for the people who have cash in hand, and that's what I want to talk about. You know, if you really truly think we're headed for a recession, or maybe you think we're already in it, it's just going to get worse, maybe you should take heed of your own house right now. And I think the best way to do that wouldn't be spending time complaining about eBay and rising prices over here and rising prices over there. It would be making sure that your house is in order, making sure that you're saving as much cash as possible, paying down any bills that you have. You know, I don't talk about my own financial situation very often, but I'm going to say this. Even when I made 42 grand a year, and I keep using that number because that's the most I ever made, in reality, I made under $40,000 for most of my life without another income. It's why I started reselling to begin with. 2008 to 2015, I don't think I saw one raise, not one. And that's pretty rough, you know, to try to live off of what you're living off of as your family grows and your expenses grow. It's a little bit difficult, but one thing we always did, and I will probably always continue to do, is I just don't have debt. I didn't spend money I didn't have. We always had cash if we needed it to take care of something that was pressing or important, but we didn't have much else. We didn't have anything extra, but I think that's really important in times like this. You know, I think one of the methods that we use out there, if you go to garage sales and say, hey, you know, you want to sell this stuff? I got a $100 bill right here. I did that at the 127. Cash can be king, and when people need money, they look around at their stuff and they're like, I don't use that, I don't use that, I don't use that. And they either become resellers or they just want to get rid of it. They need the quick cash. And if you have cash, if you've got piles of cash over here, you can capitalize. Even if it's on small deals, you can capitalize on those small deals. Now, I would be cautious, you know, spending a ton of money that you don't have is going to be bad for you, especially in a time where you think those sales aren't going to be flying in. But if you can get great deals on the buy side, then you can weather the storm, because sometimes in a recession, people still buy things. They just are looking for the absolute best deal. And if your buy price is really super low, then you can come down off your price if you need to a little bit to be the best price, and you can make the sale. So I think the buy side is where we need to focus. I've said this multiple times as well. People are going to continue to buy during the recession. You know, I went to the beach with my family, and my wife saw this new towel. I think a friend of hers gave her a towel, and it was super, super lightweight, and it didn't get any, the sand wouldn't stick to it and stuff like that. And she's like, oh, I want one. I'm like, okay. So we go check out the towel. I'm like, oh my goodness, this thing is crazy expensive. I'm not paying that much for a towel. And I immediately look it up on eBay, and you can get it like 25% cheaper on eBay shipped to your house. Now, she couldn't have it that day, but it was cheaper. And that's why I think eBay still flourishes in a downturn of the economy. It flourishes in an uptick. I think eBay's not recession-proof, don't get me wrong. But I think you can survive the storm on eBay better than a lot of retail businesses can, because people are hunting for deals. And because people are hunting for deals out there, you can be the one who provides it to them, especially if you got those stacks of cash and you can buy bulk buys from people. I've said this before, people are going to be sellers. They're going to be sellers for multiple reasons. We talked about the tax reason before, you know, not selling so much on an online platform, the $600, 1099, all that stuff is coming into play. And I think the buying season, if you have the cash is right in front of you. And that's those local flips. I just wrote down a few things, you know, that I've needed, right? I bought a lawnmower. I was gonna buy a used one. I wasn't spending $5 grand on a lawnmower. And so I went on and got a local flip, and I made it that way. So we've bought appliances locally, but you know what? I need to probably start selling those things locally as well. So let me know the things you're selling right now. If you're a local flipper, tell me in the comments what's selling for you. I just wrote down a few things. Hey, I wrote one more thing on my list I want to mention really quick, which is something I don't do, which is something I probably should be doing, and maybe we'll start, even though my area is not perfect for it. An air conditioner, something I bought at a garage sale for the new shed. Appliances, any large item at all, basically. And there's a bunch of free apps out there as well. Of course, just the, you know, Craigslist and all that stuff. You can find a lot of free things there, and maybe that's for you. I'm not really handy, so I don't like to repair things, but there's still things I know I could flip online if I just started paying attention to it a little bit more, and I think that's something I'm going to do in the coming months. Here's a cool item that sold, and this one probably could have sold for more if we would have been willing to wait. Especially since Chernock is the one who cleaned it. So old Milwaukee beer hat in great condition. That one sold for, I think, $28 out the door. I think that's right. Hey, really quick, I didn't even realize that hat was going out to Christina. You guys left a great message. They say they're reselling in order to buy a retirement property one day. That is awesome. Good luck to you guys. All right, here's a crowd that might not be affected by the recession, right? The Dolce Gabbana crowd. But you know what? Maybe they are. Maybe they like that stuff and they just don't want to pay full retail. This little tiny bottle right here sold for $18.50 plus shipping. I paid $1. Next item you saw me pick up at the I always say escape the internet, at the Escape the Interstate sale, which ironically, right here, Andy Griffith here, you know, Mayberry right there. It was right through that neck of Mount Airy, North Carolina, where that show is supposedly based and where Andy Griffith grew up. Sorry, I just saw that and thought of that. And that sale was pretty cool, and I bought this awesome vintage Western shirt. Highway 21 sale is what it was. You might remember me picking this one up. I knew it would sell because well, I can't even get it off. Because it is just absolutely pristine. It's awesome. It's still buttoned down. I mean, this thing is cool. And it was one of the best examples I saw of the country charmers out there. So awesome. I knew it would sell. And it didn't even last long because a viewer bought it before anybody else could. And that's pretty cool. Let me hang that up right there and talk about who bought it. Paid $5, sold for $40 plus shipping, and it sold to Hamed, I think is the name. Do I have that right? I think I do. Thanks, love the videos. First time I've purchased from you. I've been watching for the right item, and for some reason, this is it. That's the way I felt when I bought it. And it had a $10 tag. She said everything in the tote was $5. And then that thing had $10 on it. I'm like, I'm gonna buy it for $5. Because I knew at very bare minimum it would sell. It's a size small. No, it's not. It's a size large, but it's a woman's shirt. I'm like, bare minimum it's selling for $20. And so I was comfortable at $5, not $10. And then I brought it home and looked at some comps and knew I had the best example, so I bumped it up $40 plus shipping. If you really think things are getting bad, maybe this item will be flying off the shelves. It's more than just a downturn in an economy. It's, you know, the apocalypse. The Holy Bible, 1611 edition, the King James version. This one is brand new and in pretty darn good shape. That one sold for $29, $29.99, I think. Free ship on that one. Pretty cool. You know, I do think there is one set of items that really, really will sell very well. Just like it did in the pandemic, right? Where people were all eating at home. That was for a totally different reason. But one thing that you do when you want to save money, almost everybody has the conversation, we eat out too much. And I've noticed that when you used to have to wait forever to get into a restaurant, it started to lighten up for us a little bit. I'm like, we used to wait in a couple restaurants for like 45 minutes just to get in. Now it's turned into like 10 minutes. And there's more people working and there's less tables empty because there's not enough people working, etc., etc. But I do think that kitchen appliances, even coffee makers, you know, people cut out the coffee, different things like that, pots and pans and all that stuff. You know, people's like, well, we're going to eat at home a little bit more. I think that is really true in a downturn in the economy, and I think those are items you could definitely look out for. Maybe I should be looking to sell my New Wave ovens. You know, I've got like 3 of them sitting in there. Probably should. All right, I always grab the wrong thing here. Where the heck do I put this stuff? Let me see. All right, I found it. There is one advantage to not doing the SKU system and to basically put items in places based on the type of item that they are. And that is, once you get low in an item, or once you get low in a bin, you can reappropriate certain bins. So I was selling off a bunch of stuff out of this bin. I needed a place to put the dolls. And so I took the stuff that was in that bin getting low, put it in a smaller bin. And this is the mother load that is getting a little lower here. This is all she wrote for the mother load right there in that bin. And we sold 3 Sega Game Gears, which are absolutely notorious for not working. And of course they didn't work. None of them. Not a single one of the 3 worked. And we sold them as is for parts. Got $89 plus shipping for them. $74 profit brings us to $2,943 from $720. And I predicted during that sale that we would turn that $720 into over $3,000, and clearly we're going to get there. Can't wait. All those naysayers out there. By the way, that reminds me, a lot of shipping questions lately from a lot of folks new to the channel. I really appreciate those questions. It's difficult for me to answer all of them. I point people to different videos, but one of the questions was about priority mail versus UPS and what types of boxes you can use. All you old timers out there know the answer to the question already. You can only use priority mail boxes to ship priority mail, and it's almost never the best bet to use flat rate boxes. The only flat rate stuff I almost ever use is occasionally the bag and occasionally the cardboard envelope. And maybe every once in a blue moon, region A, region B box, but you're almost always better off now. That's why I started to get these 10 by 10 by 10 boxes, because you can get some items in those. They're fairly cheap that you can now send. I sent something yesterday to California that was $17.26 priority mail, and it wasn't very big. And it was, I think, $12.71 UPS. So anyway, I saw that just to say thank you to Rachel, who bought plans for the Commonwealth Picker shipping table on CommonwealthPicker.com. Hi, Turner, you have a sale. You have a homeschool hustler sale, don't you? Mm-hmm. And you said, is this a Spider-Man thing? It's not. You're too old to remember this. But McDonald's and their Happy Meal toys used to give away McDonald's characters. And you don't see those too many anymore. But that guy's called Hamburglar. Hamburglar. You know what a burglar is? Mm-hmm. What?
Like people who steal stuff, I
guess?
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. People who steal stuff, like Mama stealing my coffee. Yep.
This opens up. It opens up.
Yeah, it does open up. He's got a Halloween outfit on. Yeah. Yeah, because fall is coming. You know how I know that? Your birthday's coming up. Yeah. How many more days to your birthday?
I think it's like 33.
33. That's very cool, bud. So that Hamburglar right there sold for, I think, $9.95 plus shipping. What do you think about that? Pretty good?
Pretty good.
Definitely enough for you to do what?
Save $1, spend $1, and donate $1. But I have one question.
Okay, you got a question. I want to say something.
Why does he have the spider on him then?
That's a great question, because it is, spiders are associated with Halloween, and I think that's why he has a spider on him. I think. He's not going to be in... what's the new Spider-Man called? The Multiverse or something?
I don't know what it's called.
I don't know either. So it's not like the pig Spider-Man that came back. It's not going to be a Hamburglar Spider-Man in that movie. And we'll have to ask Dave, NC Picker. He watches all that new stuff. So, all right. Very cool. And you know what I looked at the other day? Your savings account. For all these save $1, spend $1, donate $1. Haven't looked in a while because we do the automatic stuff. And you got a bunch of money in there. I'm not even going to show it to you because you'd want to spend it.
Yeah, I want to spend it on baseball bats and Rubik's Cubes.
Baseball bats and Rubik's Cubes. All right, this is the longest homeschool hustler store sale of all time. Thanks, bud.
Bye.
Sold a USA magnet. $8.99 free ship. Love to ship these out. Super easy. Usually just put them in one of these envelopes. We do have an affiliate link below to those. Somebody asked me about that the other day, so I figured I would plug it when anybody ever asks me about an item we have an affiliate link to. I'm like, yeah, I'll plug that one. All right, I didn't plan this, and I normally do these sales inside, but inside the eBay cave in there is a little bit messy today. I got a lot of incoming. I was doing a few pictures in there because Bub's girlfriend was out here doing some stuff for the merch store with Reagan, and I was like, I just made it a big mess. So I wasn't going to go in there today, because I don't want you to see my mess on the table. But I went in and grabbed these. These are Justice Gymnastics hoodies. These were Reagan's right? So Bluebird's mom's like, I'm not going to take these to Goodwill. She's way too big for them. I'm going to sell them on eBay, $16 plus shipping. Doesn't do me any good, though, because now she just has an excuse to buy a $5 coffee. 3 of them, as a matter of fact. I haven't bought a Bluebird of Happiness, but Tim, over the years, I see him selling them every once in a while. I'm like, you know what? This thing's cheap. This is only like $1 or $2. I can't remember how much it is. Bluebird of Happiness, made in the USA. Bought this one as well. Look at that one signed right there. I don't know what it says, but it says 1999. And I don't know anything about them. I really never have. But I think I paid $1 for it, and it sold for $15, so I'll take it. All right, y'all. Reagan has some sales out of the CommonwealthPicker.com store, but you don't know I'm going to do this right now. But it was so funny what you just said. I want you to say it again. You were talking about Cabbage Patch Kids, which people fought over at the stores.
Yeah.
In the 80s, they fought. They camped out overnight just to get those things. What did you say about the Cabbage Patch Kids?
Let me say, I think this one's very cute. Okay, I like the dress. The hair looks like ramen noodles. That's not what I said. But I said their faces don't look like human faces. It looks like a potato sideways.
Sideways potato with ramen noodles coming out of it.
It does have 5 fingers.
It does have 5 fingers. Okay.
Usually things have like 4.
4, that's right. Like Big Bird here. 1, 2, 3.
See,
and
I
then like
this
a not even. It's like 3.
Patch doll more than that one.
You like it more than that one?
The one is that a Cabbage Patch?
It is, and that one is too up there.
Yeah, this one's like the best out of all of them.
All right, what you got?
Barbara got a mug and a blue shirt. David got a We Get Things Moving sticker. Kathleen Dream Travel Flipper got an Animal Man. Rachel got an Animal Man, and Cheryl got a gray CWP shirt. Awesome.
Thank you very much. And look at that. We're getting so low on so many items, y'all. And the reorder hadn't come in yet, but it will soon. Thank you.
Bye. And don't forget to get your sticker at CommonwealthPicker.com.
Just want to say thanks for watching. As always, thanks for getting to this point in the video. I know sometimes it's easy to click off of a video and you know, there's all kinds of stuff going on in your life. And so for those people who stick around to the very end, I really appreciate you. Thank you for subscribing, for hitting that alert bell as well. Thank you to everybody who does anything for us. We want to return the favor, you know, in light of this topic. I actually want to make this a big deal going into Q4. We buy a lot from resellers. We buy a ton off of eBay. Used stuff to save money, but it also helps people who are in the same situation as we are. And it's just it's a fun thing to do. I feel good about making those purchases a lot of times, and we've been doing that. And we're going to extend that into the holiday season. We're going to make our little wish lists around the house and hopefully go find those items, maybe even tell you guys about it. So if you have them in your stores, we'll buy them off of you because of how gracious and generous you are to us. Thank you for all of that. Thank you for using our links as well. It's something I want to talk about. If any of you have links out there, turn your eBay store into an EPN link. Tell your family about it. They can go through it. They can make you a little bit of money, just like so many people do for us. They click through our store link, and anything they buy, anything at all that they buy on eBay, doesn't even have to be our stuff. If they go through our link, we get a little portion of it, and it's pretty small, 1% up to 4%, I think maybe 5% on a couple of items. I mean, but enough people do it that you know, we're able to go out to dinner one more time a month, and that's very, very kind. And we do it for other creators as well, but we'd like to do it for some of you folks who maybe aren't creators. Maybe you have an Instagram account and you link your eBay store and talk about your items. We'd love to do it for you. I could talk about this stuff forever. Thanks for joining us today. We appreciate you, and I can't wait to see you next time. You know how you're a crazy cat lady? You know how you know you're a crazy cat lady? When crazy cats follow you around. That's right.
That doesn't mean I'm crazy.
Yeah, I think it does.
I should be.
No Name and Pepper. And Crazy Cat Lady.